Okay, before we go on, I'd like to mention about the Profiler Pro, the pre-survey. In the URL demonstration, Kara have explained to you briefly how to interpret the data and how to identify your areas of improvement and also your strengths. Okay, so it should all be data-driven. Okay, something like this should be what you used. So you need to go, for example, here, if you see right here, you need to find this, go back to the question and find which part actually got lower grade, okay? And then based on what you're finding, this, for example, here will be your strengths and here will be your areas of improvement, okay? But you may have, for example, 5 or 6 strengths or just more than 3 areas of improvement. And then you can just think about which ones are more relevant to you and choose the top 3 in both your strengths and areas of improvement areas. And then you develop your professional development goals accordingly. Okay? And I want to show you some examples of what are good professional development goals. Okay? It should meet the standards, like it should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Okay? So you can actually see very clearly how a good one, like this is not like a best one, but you can see from the second one, this one is more specific, okay? So instead of saying, I want to learn how to do a podcast, so you actually find out, you give a timely explanation. When do you want to learn this? And which kind of software you want to do this, okay? So, but I want you to actually, before we meet in week 4, I'd like you to actually just come up with one goal, okay? So think about one goal. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to give you some feedback, okay? So you have something you can show me, and we can talk about it, okay? So it doesn't matter if your goal is not like this, as the standards says, is not like specific or measurable, attainable, relevant, or timely. It's okay now. Just think about something you want to work on, and we can talk about it in week 4, okay? So this is what I want to say about the previous part. Now we are moving on to teacher website, and in your class prep, I got a lot of interesting responses, and it seems like most all of you like something simple. No, almost half of you mentioned navigation. You like website because it's well organized, it's easy to use, or use different languages, but idea is the same. Say it's easy to navigate, okay? And a lot of you mentioned simplistic, and some of you mentioned design, and some of you mentioned the function, okay? So for example, Paul mentioned the student, it's good because the website he liked is because it honors student achievements. So that's very good. And there are also other students, for example, Jacqueline mentioned that she likes the website because the teacher actually posts the different kinds of learning materials on the website. So here you can see there are a lot of ways for you to actually use your teacher website. Okay, so before we go on, I'd like to clarify. So there are 2 words. One is a website, and one is a web page. Okay, those are similar but a little bit different concepts. So website is actually a collection of web pages. So if you go to our W200 website, we have probably altogether over 20 web pages, and everything together is our website. Okay, so you can have one page for one website. Like for example, this week 3, to get you prepared, I created one page on my website. Week 3 website, I only have one page. Okay, but usually that's not the case. Usually a website have over it's more than 3 pages. Okay, you need to be careful with that. You need to be careful on how many pages you have and what information you put, and which information goes to which page. It should make sense to most people, and it's easy, as all of you mentioned, it's easy to navigate. It's easy to find information you need. Okay, that's what I want to say before I get started. Okay, on this slide, there are a list of the trends of social learning. It's a list about how school principal, parents, students, and so you can see there is a different kinds of trend between students high school student and grades from 6 to 8, there is a little bit different here, as you can see from here. Okay, you can see from here. All right, but anyway, you can see here actually teachers should be noticed that actually school principal, parents, students, they are using social media. So this is one way for us to actually extend to use technology to be reaching to students, to their parents, to get parents to be involved and be connected to other teachers and be connected to school administrations. All right, and I want to show you. You can have a look at these two figures. Okay, I want to show you a interesting video. This is actually this is a early childhood teacher, and a lot of people, I get this from several students in the past who thinks teacher website is something too complicated. It's not something we should be using. So in this example, we actually will show how this teacher is using a teacher website. Okay.
My name is Michelle Ayala, and I work at Dr. Rodriguez Elementary as a kinder teacher. Well, I love to browse on the web for resources, any games, any free printables. I like to look at all the free resources that are out there for teachers. And I kept coming across this one blog over and over and over again. And so then I started looking for her every week. It was a What the Teacher Wants blog. And that's how it started. Just a snowball occurred, and then I thought this would be so cool to have one for my own class, my classroom blog, and that's how it started.
Actually, she started with teacher website. She actually started searching for online resources, and she find this one website, and she said it's a good idea. I can do that too. Although it's a blog, the idea is the same thing. So it's a teacher's website. It's just using a blog to host the content.
That's my son, what he did. He just tells me I went to go eat lunch, I went to the gym. On that website, I actually see their what they're doing in class, the activities they're doing, the activities they did when they go on their field trips, little paragraphs on what they're doing this week and stuff like that. I mean, it's actually informed me more on what he's actually doing here in the school. My name is Joe Sanchez. My son Angel Sanchez is in kindergarten right now in the Miss Ayala's class. Basically, she's the one that's actually teaching my son to do everything, whether it be learning how to write, math, color, shapes, everything. So she's a big part of his life right now. Of course, we do help him at home with his homework and everything, but like I said, she has him 8 hours a day, so she's a big part of his life, and she teaches him a lot. She's doing a real good job right now.
I've noticed with the blog, collaboration has taken a whole new level, because not only through the blog are we able to collaborate together and, oh, look at this, and can you share this, and take a look at this, but also I can say there's a teacher in New York City who has a blog, and she has this awesome idea with the letter A that's coming up. You should check it out. And so I'll send the whole school that link, and maybe somebody can use some of those resources.
My assistant principal and I, Mrs. David, we go.
So in the first part, you can see actually this teacher, she's using this one to share the student success stories, so the parents can know what their kids are doing, right? And she actually are sharing, collaborating with other teachers. So as a teacher, especially when you first start teaching, you may feel a little bit overwhelming to teach so many things, to come up with so many lesson plans. So what this teacher is doing actually is sharing the resources with each other to help out each other. Okay, this is something you can do as well. So the basic idea, the second part is also very interesting. So you can finish this video afterwards. So basically, there are different ways for you to use it. I want to point out actually, it's not like we cover teacher website. This teacher talks about how you are sharing students successful stories online, and all of us should be doing this way. I'm not saying this way. So as a teacher, you can be coming up with your ways of using that. Actually, I see a lot of good responses from your class prep. Okay, some of you mentioned that, as I said, post at honor student achievement, and some of you also mentioned, like Jacqueline said, we share resources, learning materials, give students something. And some of you mentioned that but Olivia said, oh, I can post a homework onto the website so students can keep track, right? And Caitlin said, oh, I can have a schedule up there so my student can follow. All these are good ideas. And also remember, depends on your subject area, depends on your grade level, the way you use the teacher website might be totally different from another teacher. So it's always you come up with what you want to achieve and how you can use the technology. All right? Okay, so here we talked about how you as a teacher can use the teacher website. So you can have a list in your mind. Number one, maybe for me, if I'm going to have a teacher website, I want to have at least, for example, announcements function, newsletter function, so I can be communicating with parents, and I want to have a calendar so my student can know what's coming on, what's coming next week, and they can be getting prepared. And I want to have a paid for assignment so they can check and find resources. All right. So if you're, for example, early childhood teacher, you might want to say, well, I want to find some learning games for my kids, and so one page just game, that's fine, right? So you have a good rationale for that. Okay. So here on this slide, you will see the various kind of components of a teacher website, and usually we have like a menu, or it's called a sidebar, and a site information when it's last updated, and also the design. But the most important thing will be here on each page of the sidebar, there will be the content. And on a teacher website, usually a teacher will post information about him or herself. Okay, and there will maybe some learning resources, and a lot of teachers just use their teacher website for sharing, what they do, sharing interesting stories. That's fine. Okay, so if you're a math teacher and your use of teacher website probably will be different from English teacher, right? Okay, so here we provide some kind of standards, how to think about the design component, how to think about, so on this slide, we're only focusing on the design part, okay? So which website is better? So we give you consistency. Usually that's the most important part. I really personally, I don't like website with so many different kinds of font colors. Colorful ones can be beautiful, but it can be also distracting, right? And other kind of things are listed here. So I'd like you to have a look at that. And on the next slide, we provide you with 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 web pages. So I'd like you to have a look at that. And we are going to actually go back to our website. All right. So on the website, there is one activity for you to fill out. This is which of the website on slide 48. There are 9 websites here. So which one do you like most? Think about the standards we provided. Okay. So which one do you like least and why? So for example, if you think this is it's too colorful, or there are broken links, so you just give me 2 or 3 reasons why you don't like this one. If you like it, also tell me why you like it. Okay. So one website is for each of the questions. Okay. So this is for the teacher website.